Hello everyone. Today we're going to continue talking about classes, right? In the previous lessons we create a simple class and with some properties. I added these properties now like color and type, right? But we have like all of these properties and all of these methods, right? All of these methods, right? But now we're going to make some adjustments to our class, right? To make it useful, right? And I want to start this video by explaining what this keyword means, like self, right? You will see that a lot in Python. Well, what is that? Well, what is that self, right? What is that for? So when we when we create our class, we assign these values, right? Brand, Subaru, color blue, then like type sedan, and etc. Right? This class car share all of these properties with all of the objects that we create, right? So that's why when we create our first car, it has the same brand like Subaru and etc. Right? These properties. So so and all of these properties they're called like class variables, right? Because they just stay like that, right? But what if we want to create an object that has its properties, right? For example, like we have a car that has a different brand, different color, different type, different model, etc., right? In order to do that, we have to pass those values, this one, we have to pass those values as parameters, right? When we create our object here, right? So, so here's where the self comes in actions. So when we use self, we are actually instantiating the properties and methods from our class, right? And and let's see our example, right? Let's create a method, right? And there are like some builds methods to work with our classes, right? Let's let's start by talking about the init. Um, init. This is the init method, right? And in order to create this one, we start by double underscore like 1 and 2, and then we write init and then double underscore. Some people from other programming language confuse this one as a constructor, right? But this is not a constructor. This is basically a constructor in Python. This is basically a constructor in Python too. But init is just for initializing the values, right? Um, we'll start by creating like this one, and we use def, right? Init, and then inside here, just like a method, and then we can here are the values that we're going to pass when we create cards, right? We want to pass brand, we want to pass color, and we want to pass model, I mean, like um, type underscore. We want to pass model, and we want to pass transmission and drivetrain, right? These are the parameters for our car class, right? So so here what is the self comes to action, right? So remember we need an indentation here. This is basically the structure, right? Here we create we pass self, right? self dot brand, because we are like here. We don't. We can just move to one so you can see. I just move this self brand color, self color, self type, self. Oops. We have an error here, and then like here self, then here self. Yeah. So all the classes, I just want to mention something, right? So even though if you don't use this init, right? All the classes have this method, and it's always executed. When the class is being initiated here, for example, it's always executed. So every time you call a class to create an object, this method is executed. Now we're just going to like overriding it to pass those values, right? And these values here, like self.brand, self.color, these are the properties from our class. But here, now here, we just need to put the parameters, right? We need to pass the brand here. As you can see, that's what I like about PyCharm. You just change the color so you know like what this comes from. So this brand, it comes from the parameter. So it basically saying, okay, the property brand for our class, it will be equals to brand from our parameter color, um, type, right, model, um, transmission, and drive train. Okay, good, right? So here we initiate our class and instantiate all the values of the parameters, right? Those values we receive them when we create our first car, right? So we refer to the values and methods that belongs to our class with the self keyword. And as you saw here in our previous video, there is always like they have like this because we are referring to the objects in our class, right? And but why Python use self, right? Some programming languages like C++ or Java, they don't they don't do it like explicitly like this. You don't need to do that, but they have this keyword, right? But they have like these, just like that, like this. Basically saying like this, right? In Python will be like this, right? Like this brand, right? Referring to that. But keep in mind that self doesn't have to be like that, right? We can change this. We can name as we want, right? Let's say like we want this, right? As you can see now, I can use the the Java keyword, right? And it will work just like that. It will work. It should work, right? But I highly recommend changing this, right? Just leave it like that, like self, because for code reliability, right? So people understand. So you don't want to change that. Just keep it like that, like self. This is not Java or something. So you can change that. You can use like object, or you can use this, or but just keep it like that, like self, right? Um, Now let's modify this a little bit. So we have, as you can see, we pass those values. Now we can just, for example, like start engine, say return uh, my, let's modify that, uh, my, oops, space plus, let's concatenate this, then just put self dot to call the property from our class brand, right? Plus it's it's on broom, and just like that, like, right? And we can change, just like, for example, like, if we can just self dot transmission, it's, I don't know, equals to manual, right? let's let's return my dot self dot brand plus it's in first year and started moving, right? Woo! Else, if it's not, it's a else return my plus self brand that is in the position and started moving. Woo! Right? Yeah, just like that. You know. Um, as you can see here, we are referencing these properties that we pass from when we create these. Um, and we can just do that. For example, when we create our first car, we need to pass these parameters, right? Let's see, we want a car first that is a Subaru, right? This is the first element. The second one is color, so blue. And the third one is type. Let's um, sedan, right? Model WX, and then transmission manual, and drivetrain all-wheel drive, right? That's how we create a first car here, right? Let's just run that. Oh, yeah. Now we can just do like first car dot this brand, right? Let's just print that just to see. Oopsie. Okay. Right. Yeah. Just like that. And we can just, let's execute our methods. First car dot drive, right? Drive. Right. I don't think it would. Yeah, it won't show anything. We need to print it. We need to print it. Right. And print. Okay. Here you go. My Subaru is in first year and started moving because it's manual, right? We are using the condition here, and we can do that and create like as many cars as we want. We are basically creating many objects, like, right? This is our object, and then let's say like Mazda blue, yellow, uh, coupe, oops, and then RX-7 manual rear wheel drive. Right? Yeah, and then let's do the same here. Uh, second car, second car. Um, yeah, just like that. Let's say like this is automatic, right? Here we go. My Mazda is in the position and started moving, right? There are like many methods that we can use for 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 your classes. Now let's create another one, just right here, right? Oops. let's create the str, right? Str. What is this for, right? So this one is very simple. This method is another one that we can use in our classes, and basically this one returns a string of like a representation of our object, right? For example, we can just do like return this is your car, right? We can just put a string here. Let's concatenate all of this one, and then the color of your car is is and the color of the car is then self that um, color, right? So what happens here? Like let's 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 delete all of this, right? So what happened here? So when you, for example, like just call, for example, let's print our first car object, like right? As you can see, we're just like calling our first object. What happened here? We are calling the str method. This is your car, Subaru, and the color of your car is la 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 la, etc. But what happens if we don't have them? Right? Let's make a calling here. Right? Let's run this. This is just, as you can see, just like an object. It's like, oh, this is a car object, right? So that's how you can make like a string, and just like, so it returns just whatever you want in your object, so you can manipulate that and like make it like, you know um and there are like so many methods that you can use in locally in PyCharm. We can just do like double underscore, and then like all of these one are like the methods from our classes, right? You can just be creative and like start like experimenting with those. Yeah, as we can see now, our class is very it's now it's like useful, right? We can create many cars with this class, right? We can create up many objects or cars with this class, right? And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.